I think also when we think about fresh starts, there is something that can give us hope when we think about, man, this is a new, I mean, even if it's just not a new year, can you guys think of other times where there's been like a new beginning or a fresh start where it gave you hope?
Oh, for sure. I guess when I first started school, I was actually going to med school,
Mm,
practicing for med school.
yeah.
And I got a slam in the face, and biology and chemistry was not my strengths of
Yeah.
school. And you need that in order to go to med school. So taking that time to step back and
Mm-hmm.
figure out what it is I want to do
Mm-hmm.
and actually process that and being
Mm,
patient with myself was very difficult, but
that's
it
good.
was needed.
Yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it gives you that time to kind of challenge and think
Yeah.
through where you're at and be able
Mm-hmm.
to say, okay, it is okay for me to start again.
Mm-hmm.
And it gave you a renewed focus, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. How about you, Taylor? Can you think of anything?
Mm, we moved in 2022,
Mm-hmm.
and that was we moved as a result of um, conflict.
Mm,
So that was a really tough decision. But now that we're further along in that move, I guess I don't know how else to say that. Um, we've we can look back and see how important it was that we actually got out of the space we were in
mm-hmm.
and are in the space we're in now. And um, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you were able to learn from that experience, and it sounds like that change, that new beginning, gave you a new perspective
Yeah. Yeah.
to some extent. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It definitely helps with perspective because I was pretty reluctant to move at first, and now seeing where we're at in 2024, and by we I mean my husband and I,
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm really grateful for that change and excited about where we're at, and I
Good.
feel a lot more possibility from it.
Mm-hmm.
But there was just a season of stepping into that move, stepping into that change, and sitting where we were at and just staying like right there because I like to move constantly
Mm-hmm.
and not physically but just like be
Mm,
on the move
yeah.
constantly. And when we
Active.
yeah, and so when we moved from where we were, all of that changed because we didn't have the relationships we had before. We weren't able
Mm-hmm.
to do some of the activities we'd like to do before. And so getting into that rhythm again and being able to pace myself with that was really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that you talk about that because it makes me think about the importance of rest or reset, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when we do those things, it does cause us in a place of slowing down and just resting and being still sometimes. Sometimes it's not where we want to be. We don't want to rest, we don't want to be still, but we keep pushing forward. But sometimes God just gives us space where that's all we have choice to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is a benefit to that reset. According to Psychology Today, there's some research that's been done where it shows that it helps increase our well-being. So it increases who we are. It helps us. Our performance will increase. And then when we have those resets, we're also able to focus on our goals a little bit more. And so when you think about those resets that you've had, how has that affected goals maybe that you've had in the past, like moving forward with them?
I would say less burnout
Mm.
because, like you said, if we don't take that break and we keep moving, moving, moving,
Mm-hmm.
what we're trying to accomplish, we may be doing more harm than
Yeah.
good to not only ourselves but others around us.
Mm-hmm.
So, having that reset is very important.
Yeah.
Um, or you might just fall into a trap that
Mm-hmm.
it's really hard to get out of.
Yeah. Because I think we can all fall prey into that where we just feel like we just got to
Mm-hmm.
keep going, keep going, keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really contrary to what we know Scripture teaches us, which is to have that regular cadence of rest,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Chloe, about how rest can prevent burnout or,
Mm-hmm.
that burnout feeling. And I know that when I get rest and recharge, I always perform better in whatever I'm
Mm.
doing
Mm-hmm.
versus when I don't. And I can always
Yes.
tell a difference. And then even with that, I'm wired to go, go, go.
Mm-hmm.
So I still don't always take rest when I should.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that's funny that you say that you don't take rest as you should, because I think sometimes when we think about rest, we let other people define what rest should look like.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for each person, our cadence of rest is different. Because
Right.
God gives us each a different ability, different capacity of
Mm-hmm.
movement, or like you said, your personality, your character,
Yeah.
your abilities is that you're a person of action, a person of movement. Other people have a cadence of they need more rest, more of a different rhythm. And neither is wrong. It's
Mm-hmm.
just we have to recognize what does rest look like for that person. And but I think we still have to make sure, I think probably even more so for the person who has the active personality style, because I'm the same way. You
Mm-hmm.
both know that about me. And so being more intentional with that rest or that reset. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, that's a good point about rest looking different for everyone because I
Yeah.
think about that when I go do things on the weekend after working and or doing something like outside of work at my church or anything like that and just being constantly on the go and then I'll
Mhm.
make plans for the weekend but I don't really feel um exhausted after that. I usually feel recharged depending on what I do. If I'm with a
Mhm.
group of people or doing an activity like that,
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of refreshing to me. So that, I mean, that's not always how I rest, but I do think that is a way that I get
Yeah.
rest. That's
Yeah.
not
Definitely.
typical.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, especially if you think about self-care, a lot of people think of, oh, go to the spa, have a bubble bath, but
Right.
that's not always what that person may need. It
Yeah.
could be reading a book. It could be meditating for about 10 minutes once a week or twice a week. So, like Anne said, it depends on the person, and it's not a universal description of
Yeah.
what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, I think we have to pay attention to
Mm-hmm.
how we're all wired. I think Taylor brought up a good point a second ago too, is that why we're in these rhythms of rest or reset, um, it can have the probability or proclivity for us to increase our community. Our community can grow. I mean, Taylor kind of mentioned that because when she's out and she's evolved, she's doing things, she has opportunity to meet with people that she may not meet with when she's just at home and keeping her head down and focused and doing her thing.
Mm-hmm.
Our community can expand through that reset. Also, it helps us, we sometimes connect with people who are like-minded in our goal set that we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think of the work we do here at Peace Restore, just in like support groups. Sometimes people come together and they're looking for a way to kind of reset or a new beginning, and they build when they build that community, it really helps them to move forward.